Welcome to the Performance Enhancing Podcast. It's like steroids for your brain. A podcast for people that want the best info, but just don't have the time. Get your podcast fix with the Cliff Notes versions of your favorite podcasts. No fluff, just the actionable golden nuggets. Having this much knowledge at your fingertips should be downright illegal. So get ready for another dose of Performance Enhancing Podcast with Satori Prime. Here's your host, Ilan Ferdman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Performance Enhancing Podcast with your host, Ilan Ferdman. So if you haven't caught part one of my interview with Nathan Latka, do not miss it. Again, this is a 24-year-old phenom. Seriously, like a person that I think will become one of the next Steve Jobs or Bill Gates of our world. He is just one of the most brilliant minds ever. And so we spoke a lot about different things in part one, about how he seeks mind share and not money, how he's taken on mastering webinars for all of you that do that. And he's also shared with us some great tools. In part two, we're going to go deeper into some of those tools. We're also going to go into how he optimizes his life and creates constraints to actually obtain more freedom. In fact, through his constraints, he's been able to open up his day so that 80% of the day is actually spent reading, which is kind of amazing. He's also shared some of the best books he's read with us. So without taking any more of your time, let's dive right in to part two of my interview with Nathan Latka. Enjoy, everyone. Awesome. What's been your most successful contest?
In terms of define success, or do you want me to define success?
Well, that's a good question. See, here's how Nathan asks really good questions. Most people would just be like, well, let me just answer. Really specific. So, let's do an example, because you obviously have a ton of people.
Yep.
I know you're like, Nathan loves his customers. I would say we love our customers, and Nathan takes it to yet another level. So give me an example of a customer, or one or two of a customer using contests really successfully. Maybe that'll give some ideas to some people.
Yeah, so there's a gentleman named Dylan that works for a company called Burt's Chips. And this company is based in Devon. It's called Devon, Devon, Britain. And it's a very cool company. They hand bake chips, like potato chips, not French fries, chips. And then they bag them and they sell them. And they have 6 fryers that work in this big workshop where they hand salt and they handcraft all these chips. So they've developed this unique salt, right? And so they were going to do a campaign where they were going to give away an iPad. And I said, no, you don't give away an iPad. Give away a thing of like 50 cents of this unique salt and a bag of chips. And that's what they did. Chip company. They launched this campaign, and in 7 days, that campaign attracted 4,500 unique views with no ad spend. And they captured, from those 4,500 unique views, they captured 2,900 email addresses.
Wow.
Which they then used to market digital sales of their like chip pallets, essentially.
Okay. Interesting. Who is this? Hey, like, if for people listening, who would you say Heyo is the best fit for?
Right now, Heyo is the ultimate best fit for authors or speakers, that have been around for 4 to 6 years, that have one book published, and that have like one. Then they have additionally they have an ebook that goes for between $10 and $35. They typically have 1,000 to 30,000 people on their email list. And they have some form of brand recognition. That right now is the people that are using us in droves. Right after that, it's restaurants. Then after that, it's real estate agents. Then professional services. And then after that, it's entrepreneurs and people hustling.
Nice. And so, give me an idea from an author perspective, since those are your top guys. What kind of contests are they running, and how are they using Heyo to grow their business?
Yeah, so the reason that it's great if you have an ebook is they'll use the ebook as the incentive. So instead of paying for the ebook, they'll give it away for free. So one of the authors, so a gentleman named Chad Abbott that runs Abbott Consulting, runs an author fan page for an author named Dinesh. Dinesh writes political books, and so he gave away a signed copy of this book put the countdown for 7 days, and we've done a bunch of theory and research behind this because we've launched 250,000 campaigns. But they've got a countdown on the upper left, 1/3 down the left side of the page. Under that, they've got the email opt-in, which directly integrates to your email marketing provider. And then under that, they've got like, tweet, and share to increase the likelihood that you win. So this campaign pulled in a total of about 8,000 views, captured about 4,000 emails, which helped him then pre-sell his next book and drove a ton of success, drove book deals, you name it, speaking gigs, all the above. So they had a bunch of success with that.
Interesting. Do you guys actually help them with the targeting or just the building of the actual contest pages?
Just the building of the contest pages. So the way Heyo works is because we have such a large data set on what works across every industry, and our sample size, when I say every industry, we've launched at least 5,000 campaigns in every possible fan page categorization your fan page could be, because Facebook has a limited set of categories to pick. So we have at least 5,000 campaigns in every one of those categories, which means we can recommend the highest converting campaigns in terms of unique view to email capture to every user. So we help provide the most optimal, highest converting Facebook campaigns.
Awesome. Yeah. So for anyone listening, definitely a tool worth checking out if you're running any sort of contest, or it just makes building fan pages so super easy. All right, let's go back to your unique brain. You said on one of your recent podcasts a line that really stuck with me, and I was kind of thinking about it. You said being different is sexy. Do you remember saying that?
Which podcast?
This is with Andy.
Being different is sexy. Yeah, I probably said that with Andy.
Because you were saying, you guys were talking about, he kind of also alluded to the fact that you just perceive the world in a very, very different way. Do you want to just share people? I think I didn't want to repeat it, but we might as well because we're going down that rabbit hole about your morning routine, just so they kind of get like to the way you're systemized.
Yeah, and by no means, guys, is this right for all of you to go copy, because you might actually burn your house down.
Caveat.
That's the warning, okay? You can't sue me. The way my morning works is I'll wake up at 5:30 to the alarm, and to prevent myself from being lazy, I'll just immediately bump up and do 30 push-ups, which is really hard because I did my own flooring in my house and I never finished it, so it actually hurts to do push-ups. It's because it's like scrap wood I got from a local lumber yard. Right when I do the 30 push-ups, I then go to the stove. It's the upper right quadrant. Turn the nozzle to 4 on the stove. Put the frying pan on. Put the oil in the pan so it can heat up. It takes about 3 minutes to heat up. So right when I do that, I then run to the shower, jump in the shower, do a cold shower, and get out of the shower within 3 minutes, because if I don't, the oven's on and my house is going to burn down, right? So I get out quick. Then, I've got everything even after that measured as far as eggs and ketchup serving sizes. The most efficient food that I'm eating right now per gram of protein is actually milk. So when I go shopping, I break down the receipt and divide costs into total protein per thing that I bought, so I know what to optimize for. The problem is, if I optimize for everything, I'd only eat milk all day, every day if I was optimizing for protein intake. So sometimes I can probably be unhealthy and over-optimized.
You guys get how this man's brain works? It's like a different level. He's figuring out dollars per protein spent. Brilliant. By the way, milk, really?
Yeah, 2 cents per gram of protein.
No, but good for you? You actually feel good drinking all that milk?
No, I don't actually drink a ton of milk. That's what I'm saying. If I only drank milk, I'd be cooked. But chicken breasts, you're spiking to 7 cents per gram of protein.
I see. You just figured out what is the cheapest protein per.
Yes, eggs is
what you're eating.
Yep, eggs is 3 cents per gram of protein. So I try and optimize for the cheaper side, obviously.
Ridiculous. By the way, speaking of fitness, and then we'll go to being different is sexy. When we met, you were like, I'm going to put on 20 pounds. I'm going to do all this stuff. Did you?
We chatted before I had started that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was 160. If that was the case, I was 164 when I spoke with you. I'm now up to 182.
What?
Yeah, dude. 182.
Wow. Yep. Doing what? Just out of curiosity.
So I have a routine. I don't know how to best show it digitally here, but so I do squats. Started off, I could only squat 150. Now I'm up to 240. Do 3 sets, 10 reps each, build up. And then a lot of it is just other core like strength. So bench press, get that up. Battle ropes. If you guys have ever done battle ropes, you just basically have chains that you just do this with for as long as you possibly can. And then the prowler, which is where you literally just stack hundreds of pounds of weights and you just push it as hard and fast as you can. And it's actually a really good mind exercise. I mean, I'm looking in a mirror when you do all these exercises, and the mind games you can play with yourself are fascinating.
Yeah. Wow. So you really went after it. You wanted to, so I remember you were like 20 pounds. We met in December. You were like 20 pounds by February. And I remember telling you like, that's crazy. That's like so much weight so fast, but you've done it naturally and
man, look, it's like,
look at you, buddy.
I'm not at Ilan status, but I'm getting there. I'm not there yet.
Wow, good for you. So what did you do, just out of curiosity, to kind of like study and break down what you wanted to do in that front?
I started from the end. So I thought, okay, I'm going to need to be this weight by this date to stay on track, and this weight by this date. And then I broke down what I needed to eat in order to kind of meet some of those goals. And then I started breaking down my diet. So I eat pretty much the same thing every day. I do the 5 eggs in the morning plus the glass of milk. I do a Cliff Bar and a banana are my snacks between breakfast and lunch. Lunch is usually 1 chicken breast, a side of potato salad, and a thing of brown rice with a glass of milk. Then my 2 afternoon snacks are another Cliff Bar and then another kind of fruit. And then in the evening, I eat the same thing that I had for lunch. So I'm eating a lot of chicken breasts, a lot of fruit, a lot of eggs, and I just stuck to that every single day. And it was consistent. I just made it a habit. It's
so funny, like people always make fun of me, but my regimen with food is similar. I mean, not like that consistent, but pretty much my first 3 intakes of food are always exactly the same. Like during midweek are always the same. It's just so funny. It's like eating is so inefficient when you're running a business.
Oh Lord, you're telling me.
It's like, and I remember I would just take like 45-minute lunch breaks.
Yep.
Then I would come back to my work and you're in like that food coma. So the next like 30, 45 minutes are worthless.
Yep.
Now, I'll drink a shake and I'm like 5 minutes back to work, kicking butt.
Yep.
Yeah. It's awesome.
They're very inefficient.
It's so funny when you start thinking about all these things that are completely inefficient.
Yep.
So anyway, back to your sexy brain. You said being different is sexy. And you were talking about your brain and how rational you are and logical you are and these type of things. And you thought that made you interesting and unique, which I thought was really kind of an incredible thing to notice, because obviously we're in a mastermind, with 7, 8, even 9-figure earners. And yet every person I talk to is like, have you met Nathan Latka? Have you met Nathan Latka? Because even in that group, you shine. So is this something that you now work on because it sets you apart? Or is this just by design that you are this way? Like
that I work on what specifically?
The way you process stuff, the way you break everything down into these little micromanaged modules. Is that just like something you learned, something you developed?
Well, as it makes my life better, I do it more. So it's been making my life better. I mean, and just to make sure your audience understands, the reason I do this so intently is because it's actually what enables you to be free. If I can run regimented, things like that. I mean, what I do, I work, I'm in the office by 6:30. I work till 10:30, a.m. Then I leave and I'm working out from 11 to 12. Then I go home and I eat from 12 to 12:30. I take an hour-long nap every day, 12:30 to 1:30. Then I'm back in the office by about 2. And then I work and I'm in bed every day by 9:30. So, I mean, I'm getting 8 hours of sleep plus an hour-long nap. I feel great. I can afford in the mornings and afternoons to go and read a book for 4 hours, or go take one walk every morning when I eat my Cliff Bar and one walk every afternoon when I eat my fruit. mean, I actually live a very free life because I've created constraint around things that most people don't put constraint around, but they happen at high degrees of frequency. So if you don't constrain them, they eat your time without you even realizing it.
And so how do you find these areas that people like are inefficient and then put this process in place?
Well, anything that you have to do to have a healthy body, you should make efficient. Like exercise, sleep, food intake. And the reason I say that is because you create constraint around these things, because then when you have a moment or you create space, you can just let your brain go to that flowy state really easily. I never get in a flowy state thinking about how am I going to eat my next meal, or like, you know what I mean? That opportunity doesn't exist. So I create that constraint to free up my time to let my mind wander.
Interesting. It's so funny. It's like through constraint, you get freedom.
Totally.
Which is just a brilliant, brilliant thing to think about. Okay. Give me, what's been the most impactful thing that's actually like expanded your mind that you've done, person you spoke to, book, something in the last 3 months that's really changed the way you view the world?
RJ Kirk. He was the gentleman. He's on Forbes Billionaire. He's the gentleman that knows me, that put money into Heyo. I got the chance to meet with him in person at his home in Florida. It was supposed to be an hour-long conversation, and the conversation went for 5 hours, and we were brainstorming everything, ranging from how to construct your own orchestra around mathematical equations and have them build a piece more powerful than Mozart. We did that in his studio, all the way to the most efficient way to hit a tennis ball, to put topspin on it, to make it kick out so that the person can't possibly return it, all the way to how to strategically take and IPO your company so that when you go on the road show, it actually doesn't matter if people like it or don't like it because you've mitigated risk. It was crazy.
Tell him the story of how you ended up at his house, because it was supposed to be a phone call.
Yeah. So it was supposed to be a phone call, and I want to make sure I remember exactly how this happened, because okay. So what happened is there's a publicly traded company right now that I won't name because it's actually not done yet. That is being bought by a private equity firm, right? And it's a company with like a $450 million market cap. And I said, well, you know what? That company those customers deserve to be with Heyo because we have a better product and they're going to be happier with us. So I need to figure out a way to make this business Heyo. And I said, okay, well, everyone I talked to about this thought I was crazy, including the team that manages RJ's money. So it was hysterical when I talked with this team. They said, look, just have a phone call with RJ, see what he says. And I said, you know what? No, I need to figure out a way to get to him in person. Where in the world is he? Tell me where it is, and we'll schedule time. They resisted. So what I did is I just got emailed to the RJ secretary. Secretary put a time on the calendar, and I said, surprise, he's got the time blocked off. It might as well be in person. So just tell me the address I need to fly to. She gave me the address. I'm not going to disclose what that is, but I flew there, went in. It was an in-person meeting, and I had confidence that if I could get in person, I could extend the runway that I had to learn from him out of an hour-long phone call. And that's exactly what happened. And
well, I remember you told me you had figured out how much. You basically said that they were going to block out an hour for you, and his hour of time is worth like God knows. And you figured like if we're going to be on the phone, we're not going to knock it out in an hour. We'll probably have to do another follow-up. And you're like, if we're in person, we can knock it out in 1 hour.
Exactly.
You like did the math and you're like, well, I'm saving you like
30 minutes. So after he committed to an hour, what I did is I said, if we do it in person, I can knock this out in 45 minutes, saving you 15 minutes. And because of how much money Intrexon's making, I know that a minute of your time is worth $25,000. So I'm actually saving you about $250,000 if you let me meet you in person. Perfectly rational.
And that's how you meet with a billionaire, my friend.
Yeah. Yep.
Speak his language.
Yep.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, God, I love these stories. Okay. So question I kind of wrap stuff up with. It's going to be funny because you're 24 years old. So this is usually I ask this question of 50 years old and 45-year-old, but the cliche is probably working and you've had life experience than, outweighs most people. So, that cliche, if I only knew then what I know now?
Yeah.
Okay. What are two things that you wish you knew, say when you started your business, that you know now?
There's actually only one thing.
Okay.
And there's absolutely nothing you can lose by asking for insane things. I would have just asked for insane things earlier on, because what happens, and I'll give a very concrete example if we have time.
Yeah, we have plenty.
Going out and asking for $500 million. Okay, I can tell you, Heo is not worth $500 million yet. I had to go out and figure out how to propose to even ask for $500 million. Well, you just start asking people and they start believing you can do it, and they start giving you incremental value you never would have received if you didn't propose this big vision. It might not be money, but it might be introductions and other things. So I wish I knew, back when I was 15 and 16, to just ask bigger questions all the time.
Amazing. Nathan, what's your, are there some books that you're reading now that people should be reading?
Yeah. So Warren Buffett's bio is one that I was reading a while ago. I'm currently reading Walt Disney's biography. There's actually a ton. So we were debating about this concept between creativity versus commerce. It's a constant battle inside all companies. And so I said, well, let me study the bios of the men that dominate both of those. Creativity is Disney, commerce is Buffett. And it's actually crazy, Ilan. They almost live the exact same childhoods. Their patterns and their family and their structure is almost exactly the same. I'm going to actually publish a research paper on it in a bit to my Facebook wall. So I'm studying those bios. I'm reading The Unfounded Letters of David Ogilvy, which are really great. I am reading, there's Ed Catmull. He founded Pixar with Steve Jobs. He falls in the creativity camp. I'm just finishing his book. It's brand new release called Creativity. And the next bios I've got on my plate are Hillary Clinton's. And then after that, I'm going to get into Rockefellers again.
Are you keeping up with the biography a month? And then I remember you told me something like you're going to read a biography a month and then actually act and make decisions from that.
Yeah. So I've upped the frequency. I'm doing actually a bio a week. I discovered a month is too long. So a bio a week and then live the week like that person. Do the 1 page of notes, reread them every day for 7 days while you're living out that person's life or making decisions with their glasses on. And then move to once a month where you're reading that 1 pager, and then once a quarter, and then once a half a year, and then once a year. And that's how I take habits and make them. That's how I take concepts, things I read, and make them habits.
How's it been working?
I think it's been working well, but honestly, I haven't figured out a way to measure it yet.
Well, yeah. But have you made decisions that have been
yes,
you as Nathan wouldn't have made?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's the measurable result then.
Yes. Yep.
How are you reading a book a week? Speed reading courses? Did you take a speed reading course?
No, you asked how are you reading a book a week, and I just said fast.
Clearly.
No, I've created a ton of time. I'm reading about 80% every day. 80% of my day is spent reading.
Look at you, Mr. Warren Buffett.
Yeah, that's where I learned it from.
Really? So you set up your day so you can read more.
Yep.
And this, my friends, is Nathan Latka and why he will be a billionaire by the time I'm 30. You could all say you heard it here first.
Dude, Ilan, I'm thrilled that we got to jam, man. I love your energy.
Oh, I love you, man. You're a breath of fresh air every time I speak to you. It's just amazing.
It's definitely mutual.
I got to get out to Virginia. I got to see this whole operation you got going on over there.
Hey, well, if you want to talk about a breath of fresh air, you come down here, you're going to get a breath of cow shit is what you're going to get. You're welcome to come.
Just thinking what I'm missing in my life right now is a breath of cow shit. Nathan, thank you so much for coming and hang out with us. How can people connect with you?
Yeah, they can just, if you have something provocative you want to talk about, or a big question you want to ask me, or if, I don't know, you want to work together on a webinar or whatever, just text me. My number is 703-431-2709. And if you want to optimize the likelihood I send a response, you want to text me between 9:30 and 10:30 a.m. Eastern.
And why would a man know that?
That's the time that I have where I'm usually on the phone.
Amazing. You're amazing. I will put up his number. I'll put up all the links. I'll listen back to this and also put up all the books that we discussed and everything like that. So you guys can find it on the satoriprime.com/podcasts page. Nathan, love you, brother. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Guns out, baby.
I'm going to have guns as big as you one day. You just wait.
Yeah, I'm afraid. I'm afraid.
Take care, brother.
Bye. Have a great night.
You too. See ya.
Later.